Hello everybody. This is Dr. Fayaz Ahmad Ilkal, working as an assistant professor in Rani Chennamma University PG Center, Torui, Vijaypur. At the outset, I would like to congratulate the team of Government First Grade College Hunagund for taking this initiative and choosing an apt topic for the FDP program, that is MOOCs, e-content development and OER. I warm-heartedly wish all a good luck and best of luck for the success of this FDP faculty development program, and especially the program director, Dr. S.L. Patil, who happens to be a good friend of mine. When he spoke to me, I was very much upbeat about the topic and the content which he has chosen for this FDP program. And then when I was asked to choose any of the topic, that time I told that e-content and e-resources for academic development is a very apt topic considering the present situation which we are facing post or during COVID-19. So this COVID-19 situation has brought all the academicians and the students a bit in a spot of bother. The spot of bother is that how to complete our syllabus and how to face this difficult situation. Hence, most of the universities and most of the colleges have come up with these FDP programs and then webinars and online lectures. Hence, in this epidemic, the students as well as the teachers are put into test. Hence, that is why that forced me to take up this topic, that is e-content and e-resources for academic development. So these things, in this presentation, I'll be dealing with a case study. Initially, I will take up one case study in order to show, in order to put forth the problematic of e-content and e-resources, the things which we as a teacher, the things which the students face. Okay, and then why content and e-resource, why we should need, why there is a need for this e-content and e-resource. E itself means e means electronic and e-resource means electronic resource, and how it is related with academic development. Further information for academic development, from where we are going to get information for academic development and how it will benefit us. Hence, primary sources and then secondary sources, tertiary sources, use of internet in academics, all have been packaged in this one presentation of mine. So to begin with, I have taken one case study that is of a school teacher called Radha. Unlike you and me, she also, as a school teacher in some rural place, if not like Hunagund, but in some rural place where she is facing some of the difficulties while teaching her students. She feels that she is not only she, but even the students are highly deprived of learning resources. They have very limited resources. Hence, she is struggling day in, day out to collect and organize learning resources wherever they are available. So what she used to discuss with her colleagues and her friends, and even she had a face-to-face discussion with her students as well. But then also somewhere she lacked that capability or motivation. So because of that, she was not able to do much for them. So this is so happened that during one of the training programs, just like this FDP, okay, she was introduced to an open educational resource and e-content, massive open online courses, etc., and their availability and features. And I hope this faculty development program will serve the purpose just like this. So moving ahead, the training made her realize that the ICT has solutions to the problems she was facing in her school. Okay. So this is how you have to relate yourself to Radha or to any other school teacher or a PU lecturer or a degree college assistant professor or a university professor, and even from students' perspective as well. After undergoing that training, she realized that ICT has solutions to the problem she was facing in her school, and it has become a boon for her. Okay, now she's empowered in such a way that she can find apt and sufficient resources for her students. There has been lots of difference in her attitude, in her confidence. Earlier, how she used to go to this class and how she is going now to the class. She's also able to use, reuse, revise, remix the OERs and share them with her students, colleagues, and friends. She has become an example for all. She has helped her students in getting the required latest books, learning materials, resources, and information, and help them in fulfilling their aspirations. She has now started inspiring many a teacher who are also in the same position as she was once. And this is what this FDP will provide you all. I'm damn sure about it. So today, what's happening? The entire world is moving speedily towards digitization. Everything, the whole world is getting digital. And we have to learn new things using new technologies. This is where some of the traditional teachers, sorry to say this, but some of the traditional teachers are facing difficulty in digitizing themselves, in digitizing their classrooms and making their classes smart, their students smart, and themselves smart. I'm sorry, but if you don't become smart, your students will not be smart, and your classrooms cannot be converted into smart classrooms. Got it? Though our phones are smart, but we are not smart enough. So we have to become smart. And thanks to COVID-19, that it has exposed us, it has forced us to move into this digital world and face the difficulties and face the challenges of electronic media or electronic. This is the time for us to wake up and update ourselves, because this is the need of the hour. The evolution of computers, especially the internet, has affected all spheres of our life. Just recently I heard in the news that even Supreme Court is thinking of making internet as a basic right. 10 to 15 years back, we used to spend our time mostly in the library for information in books, magazines, and journals. Even in 2004, when I was pursuing a PhD, I had to go to various places in order to collect materials from different libraries. I had to wait for the libraries to open, and I had to wind up everything before the library closes, and then I had to pay lots of money for Xerox and for print. But now you can get information, you can get resources only on the tips of your fingers. Yes, my dear friends, we are in a globalized world. Now, a day we search for information in the websites. Access to information has become very easy because of information sharing on World Wide Web. It is also called as HTTP or www. Wherever, if you want to search something in Google, we use this platform. So now, how this e-resource and e-content is related to academic development. First thing, quality of teaching and students' learning are determined by the teachers who teach them. Obviously, it is a major factor. We have to motivate the students. Well-trained teachers with required knowledge, skills, and commitment can develop scientific and critical thinking, promote tolerance, and develop cultural and social values in them. And this is how we can say that we are academically, we are growing. Not only we, but even the students are developing. And then innovative technologies will make it possible to achieve these by providing new ways to teach us. Otherwise, what happens? Our students will be smarter than us. We will be not able to use digital technology wherein our students will be using it. And we will be cutting a very sorry figure. That thing should not happen. And these new technologies are placing more demands on teachers to learn how to use them in their teaching and learning processes. If you won't deploy this, sorry, we will be left behind. We have to update ourselves. So this great transformation is posing challenges. Most of the teachers, they say, so in this age from where we should learn, who will teach us, and why we should ask our juniors, our young generation to teach us all these things. But learning and teaching has no age. And even teacher educators in using technologies in creative and productive ways. So once, if you learn them, then the second step will be innovation, creativity, which will transform you from being a teacher. And you will lead towards a smarter teacher. Hence, we as teachers have to meet these new challenges. Who knows in future what are the challenges which we will be facing. And then we have to be continuously acquiring new knowledge and skills to discharge our duties effectively. Still, we can't depend on blackboard and chalk teaching. The world is changing very dramatically. We have to buckle ourselves. So information for academic activities. Why do we need information for academic activities? So by acquiring all the information, we can put it into our academic activities like teaching, research, and for publication. When you improve yourself, when you become smart, what do? You put it into teaching. And then after teaching, the teaching leads you to research. And research leads you to publication. This is where UGC investing a lots of time and money. They want teachers not only to teach, but also they want them to invest their time into research. That is why they are making PhD mandatory, especially for assistant professors. And then they are bringing down number of journals in order to ensure quality. And only those papers, research articles are given value which are being published under UGC care list. So this is the purpose. And this is how you can academically develop. So from where we can collect all these information? We can collect all these information from sources. And the sources of information are divided into two broad categories, that is documentary and non-documentary. Again, documentary and non-documentary are subdivided into primary sources and then secondary sources and then tertiary sources. Tertiary is nothing but e-content, that is electronic content. And in non-documentary, it is formal and informal. Okay. So now, documentary sources which are referred to the published and unpublished sources of the print media in all fields of knowledge. They may be textual, numeric, or graphic in any physical form in any language produced within the country or outside. They are further divided into primary sources, secondary sources, and then tertiary sources. So those who are involved into research, they may be very much well versed with these terms, primary, secondary, and tertiary sources. So they are usually evidence or primary sources of information. So what are these primary sources of information? They are usually evidence or accounts of the events, practices, or conditions being researched. So when it comes to literature, for us, primary source happens novels, poems, drama, which are originally written by that author. And anything which is being written about that text or about that writer is called as a secondary source. And then present information in its original form, not interpreted or condensed or evaluated by other writers. So if they evaluate it, then it becomes secondary source, not primary source, and which are not created by a person who directly experienced that event. So however, what constitutes a primary source of information depends on the disciple or context, how the material is used. For example, among other diaries, interviews, minutes of meetings, photographs, videos, artworks, artifacts, like, and again, periodicals, research reports, reports on scientific expedition, and then conference proceedings. Standards and patents, thesis and dissertations, and also unpublished sources of information like company files, laboratory, notebooks, etc. And then a secondary source of information. After primary, now we move towards secondary source. Secondary source of information. What are these secondary source of information? They are critical works, which are not directly written by the author or the writer, but it is been uh, an observation or criticism of another person about that particular work or about that research or about that particular interview, poem, survey, or whatever it may be. A secondary source of information is one that was created by someone who did not have a first-hand experience or participate in the events being researched. And they are generally accounts written after the fact with the benefit of hindsight, their own perspective. And secondary source describe, they analyze, interpret, evaluate, comment on, and discuss the evidence provided by primary sources. It's an evaluation of primary source. So when these books are being used, they are considered as a secondary source. So they are not evidence, but rather commentary on and discussion of evidence. They just evaluate with the help of these sources about the primary source. And then the secondary data is one that has been collected by individuals or agencies for purposes other than those of a particular research study. So what constitutes a secondary source of information depends on discipline or how the information is used. For example, textbooks, bibliographies, biographical works, commentaries, criticisms, dictionaries, encyclopedias, reference books, reviews, indexing and abstracting periodicals, yearbooks, almanacs, handbooks, etc. So tertiary sources of information, that is the third source, third type of source. So these works which list primary and secondary resources in a specific subject area. So materials like index, organize and compile citations to and show how secondary and sometimes primary sources could be used. So these materials in which information from secondary source has been digested, reformatted and condensed and put into a convenient, easy to read form. So these resources arrange the information in a helpful way from primary and secondary sources. For example, again, the same almanacs, dictionaries, population registers, statistics, fact books, abstracts, indexes, bibliography of bibliographies, chronologies, classifications, handbooks, guidebooks, and manuals, guide to literature, etc. So let's find out then the difference between primary, secondary, and tertiary sources. So primary sources of information are original manuscript, as I had said earlier. They may be documents or records used in preparing a published or unpublished work. For example, an original place of artwork which be considered a primary source. And then secondary source are published or unpublished work that relies on primary source. An article critiquing a place of artwork which would be a secondary source. As I told you, a critical work about one particular text is called as secondary source. And then tertiary source are published or unpublished work that is based on secondary source again. So it can be called as a third form of source or third source of information. An art index would be considered a tertiary source. So it is sometimes difficult to differentiate between primary, secondary, and tertiary sources. And there are again two types of sources, that is formal and informal. So let us not go much in detail about these sources. These three forms of sources is more than sufficient for you all. So again, before harping upon some other topics, let us take up some basic information about internet. Most of us, we know what is internet, what is broadband, what is fiber net, what was 2G, what was 3G, what is 4G, and what is 5G. But we don't have enough information about it. So I would like to throw some light upon this aspect, especially which will help us to acquire some e-resource, which will facilitate us in our academic development. So the things which I'll be covering here is the internet there and now, how the internet works, major features of the internet, online services, internet features in application programs. So now, the internet then and now. So have you ever thought what made to discover internet or to invent the internet? I would like to take you back to the pages of history, especially during First World War and Second World War. It was created first by Advanced Research Project Agency and the US Department of Defense for Scientific and Military Communications. This was the major difference between United States and the other countries. And this is what made them to be victorious in First World War and Second World War. Directly from White House, the information used to go to the military base through internet. And then after that, it was made public to us. And now we are using it for business purposes and for personal development as well. So internet is a network of interconnected networks. Even if part of its infrastructure was destroyed, data could flow through the remaining networks. So the internet uses high-speed data lines called backbones to carry data. Smaller networks connect to the backbone, enabling any user or any network to exchange data with any other user. So this is how the entire internet works. Local network and then regional network, and then there is local network, regional network, that is the backbone of it. And that is how the users are being shared. Just like how we have our Aadhaar card, PAN card, like that we have our computers, our laptops have their own TCP IP addresses, which can be used only for that particular computer or only for that particular internet line. So how the internet works here? First one, TCP and IP. Routing traffic across the internet, addressing schemes, domains, and subdomains. As I told you earlier, every computer and network on internet uses the same protocols. So what is this TCP? TCP and IP? TCP is a transmission control protocol, and then IP is internet protocol. So no matter what type of computer system you connect to the internet, if it uses TCP or IP, it can exchange data with any other type of computer. So most computers don't connect directly to the internet. Instead, they connect to a smaller network that is connected to the internet backbone. And then the internet includes thousands of host computers which provide data and services as requested by client system. So that is how we are shared, whether we want broadband, whether we want fiber net, and then in broadband, what type of speed we want, and for how much GB, and for how much money. So based upon our usage and speed, we are charged high. The price for 2G is not that much, as in how we increase our speed, the tariff rates go on and on and on. So when you use the internet, your PC requests data from a host system. The request and data are broken into packets and travel across multiple networks before being reassembled at their destination. So this is the map, generally how it works. Internet is connected through TCP/IP and then bridge router, and then it is sent to the local network and it is being connected to PCs. I have indicated. You can just go through it. And then how the internet works, addressing schemes. In order to communicate across the internet, a computer must have a unique address. If it doesn't have unique address, it cannot connect to the internet. So that is the prerequisite. Just like to enter a particular place, you need a ticket, just like that. So every computer on the internet has a unique numeric identifier called an internet protocol or IP address. So mostly that IP address has 4 parts, each part a number between 0 and 25. You can see that. So it is divided into 4 parts. So an IP address might look like this: 205.46.117.104. So it may be 2-digit or it may be 3-digit. It changes from which server you use. Every server have their own specific IP addresses. So in addition to an IP address, most internet hosts or servers have a domain name system that is called as DNS address, which uses words. So there you saw that it used digits. So here it uses words. A domain name identifies the type of institution that owns the computer. An internet server owned by IBM might have the domain name ibm.com. Some enterprises have multiple servers and identify them with subdomains such as productsibm.com. So IBM, as you know, that is a very popular software company. And this is how internet domains are divided into. The name of the domain, it may be .com or edu or gov and or MIL or NET or ORG. So what does it mean? So here, the type of organization, if it is commercial, then it becomes commerce. If it is educational, it becomes EDU. If it is government, it is GOV. And then if it is military, it is MIL. And then if it is gateway or host or business or commercial, then it is NET. And if it is other organization, then it becomes typically non-profit, that is ORG. So now you must have seen that in our academics, we use it as AC.in. So what does this AC? AC means academic. IN stands for India. So e-resources. E-resource means electronic resource. Electronic resource means soft resources, which are available in digital format. So those which we find in library, which we can touch, which we can read, which we can touch, which we can feel, and then we can get it Xerox, I mean, not Xerox, but at least which we can feel it physically. They don't fall under this category. E itself means electronic. So here technology has been an important driving force for change. So whatever books they are being scanned and then they are put into these e-resources. Information, communication, and technology has affected everyone's life. Of course, it has. Virtually all libraries, at least in most developed countries, are now members of networks that greatly facilitate the location of sources of information and the gaining of access to them. So now if you go to Shodhganga in FlipNet, you can find that so many governments, so many libraries of different countries have signed MOU, that is Memorandum of Understanding, between one country to another country, between one library to another library, and they share those resources. Earlier, when not long back in 2004, when I was pursuing my PhD, at that time, I had to borrow books from America because I was doing my PhD on American writer, and they used to ship those books, and I had to wait for almost 15 days or maybe for 1 month. And after reading them, again I had to send them back. So my university used to borrow it from that university, and likewise, whatever material books they wanted, our university or that particular library of that particular university used to provide them if there is some pact or MOU between both the universities, or else it is not possible. And virtually all libraries, at least in the most developed countries, are now members of networks that greatly facilitate the location of sources of information and the gaining of access to them. So that is why nowadays our thesis and MPhil dissertations are being scanned and put into these databases, so that any person across the globe can have a glance at our research work. So just like that, there are even ebooks, and now in Amazon you will find Kindle. That is again another form of ebook or e-resource, wherein you can find all types of electronic books on which you can use it for reading or for any kind of academic development. So here, electronic publishing is the use of computers to design, edit, and distribute material that traditionally would have been produced on printing process. So number of advantages than printed books. So for printed books, you have to wait for a week, or again depending on the courier services and all. But for ebooks or e-resources, you just need to purchase them, and then it will be instantly available online, and you can download it and you can read. Or even now, an audible.in and audible.com has been launched, wherein audible itself means audiobooks. So now maybe that is the future. So even that type of books are available. That is what I am trying to say here. And then what are the benefits of ebooks? Just now I told you. So thousands of full text ebooks from authoritative publishers you can get, and then authoritative references updated and in electronic format, 24 into 7 access from any internet connected computer, unlimited simultaneous use, no more damaged pages or missing volumes, read speaker technology, allowing text to be read aloud to users and download in MP3 format, cross searchable with select periodical collections, and so on, so forth. And even on demand, content translation into other languages is also available. So likewise, there are e-journals as well. Information is one basic resource needed for development and prosperity. Information is nothing but the recorded experience that is used for decision making. The world has moved from industrial revolution to information revolution. So modern world depends upon the information for social, economic, scientific and technical development. As we all know, the very fabric of scientific society is deeply rooted in primary sources for information, that is periodicals, one among that is journal published in electronic versions. So from where we are going to retrieve all these sources? We are going to retrieve these sources, e-resources, e-books, e-journals through a database. And that database is stored and can be accessed through internet. So data is nothing but material. And base is a kind of a go down, we can say, a storage where we can store these all electronic material, as you can see there in the image. The retrieval of exact information today has become a difficult task due to the exponential growth of the information in all fields of human knowledge. And then the generation, collection, retrieval, and dissemination of information through creation of databases and systematic information services are becoming essential to meet the increasing demand. Modern man expect information service more quickly, rapidly, and accurately. That's why the present generation is very much uh, impulsive. They don't have this patience to wait for the things, because everything is instant nowadays. Whatever you want, it is being provided instantly. Earlier, we used to go to a bank to get money somewhere around from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. That's it. But now, whenever you want, you can go to the ATM machine, just put your card and get the money. It is again what? That is again thanks to electronics. So it is just an example. Likewise, you can just imagine, without electronics or without these things, we cannot imagine about our present situation. So modern man expect information service more quickly, rapidly, and accurately. The advances in computer and telecommunication technologies simply this job in more sophisticated way, that is database creation. So here databases are the medium which have changed the way we perceive and disseminate information. They help to access any remote information. And it also helps in activities of handling of information such as resource sharing, reference service, abstracting, and indexing services, easy retrieval of information. And where do you find these? Like book databases, periodical databases, abstracting databases, statistical databases, census databases, etc. I have used so many definitions, but then I hope that will serve its purpose. So like this, there is one e-resource which is open to access. You can access, anyone can access, have an access to this. So that is e-Pathshala, which is developed by the government of India. And the website, name of the website is www.epathshala.nic.in. So here you can find NCERT books which are available free in digital version. They are available in a digital or soft copy. And then 15 lakh students have downloaded ePathshala app. Visits in 1 year has crossed the 30 million mark, and it will go on multiplying year by year, day by day, year by year. So now the present generation and the future generation can be called as a digital generation. So likewise, there is one more which is called epathshala.nic.in, and this is how it looks. You can also install the app. And then there is one National Institute of Open Schooling, which also provides easy access to educational materials for vocational programs at the level of secondary and senior secondary plus 2 levels. The project is carried out in partnership with state level institutions and organizations. So this is how the website looks like. There is all the information available there when it has been certified by the government, and then about us, the information about that particular website and a particular institute, and then how many departments are there, and the programs, and then the results of previous, and if currently, recently, if they have taken up any exams, all the information related to those exams are shared over there. And then even if you want to contact someone, the contact numbers are also available. And then the upcoming lectures or the current lectures, the time and subject, everything is on display. So likewise, there is one more National Repository of Open Educational Resources, NROER. It is a collaborative platform provided by MHRD, Ministry of Human Resource Development, which brings together everyone interested in school and teachers across India. And it was launched in 2013. And it is a learning repository for open educational resources. And it is also a repository which provides a platform for creation and use of localized content available in variety of formats. So the repository offers digital resources for all school subjects and grades in multiple languages. So this is how the website looks like. And then PG Pathshala project. This is an initiative of UGC for providing free access to standardized e-textbooks for postgraduate courses in different universities of the country. So likewise, the project is taken up under NMEICT and involves the development of high quality curriculum based interactive e-content in different subjects across all disciplines at postgraduate level. And this is how the website looks like. It is a gateway to all postgraduate courses. And then daily, the subjects and papers are being updated. And you can see most of the subjects and papers have been included. You can see almost more than 20,000 ebooks are there, and then 19,000 plus videos are there. 3,200 experts are affiliated with this, and then more than 30,000 quick quizzes have taken place, and then almost 70 subjects and 723 papers are in the database of this. And then there is one more, Vidyamitra. Vidyamitra is an online learning portal for all the e-content projects developed under the NME ICT. It provides seamless across to e-content developed by various OER platforms and bring them under single umbrella, enabling user to access all e-content through single window platform. And then adopt digital preservation strategies to ensure long-term availability of e-content. And this is how the website looks like. And then National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning, NPTEL. And even there is one channel which is almost provided by all the platforms like Airtel, Tata Sky, Sun, and other networks. So it was initiated by 7 Indian IITs, that is Bombay, Delhi, Kanpur, Kharagpur, Madras, Guwahati, and Roorkee, along with the IIC Bengaluru in 2003. So it aims to enhance the quality of engineering education in the country by providing easy access to curriculum-based video and web courses in engineering and sciences. So this NPTEL channel is also there in YouTube. You can watch some of the videos related to this. And even you can directly go to their official website. And then there is the National Digital Library of India, launched in May 2016 and dedicated to the nation on June 19th, 2018. It is a national mission project by MHRD and IIT Kharagpur to empower citizens through digital literacy. So meta search of Indian OER repositories are available there. For example, Krishi Kosh, which are related with agriculture related information. Shodh Ganga, wherein we find all our thesis and dissertations uploaded. And then NPTEL, NCERT, e-textbooks, e-Gyan Kosh, etc. There are a number of such websites wherein you can have an access to those OE resources. And this is how the website looks like. As you can see there, it is being financed and developed by MHRD, Ministry of Human Resource Development, under collaboration with IIT of Kharagpur. And then National Knowledge Network is also there, which was established in 2010. And it aims to connect all educational institutions, universities, research institutions, libraries, healthcare, and agricultural institutions across the country through a high bandwidth network. It marks a step towards creation of a knowledge society. So to conclude, information is essential, as we know, for all sorts of human well-being. Without information, we can't help each other. So as information is essential, knowing information sources is also essential for effectiveness. So in fact, that is what prompted me to take up this topic. And development depends on information and its proper use at proper time. So by sharing the information, I will be not robbed of that information, but while sharing that information, I will be having some more information from your side also. So by caring and sharing, we grow together. Development depends on information and its proper use at proper time. So reading makes a perfect academician. Knowledge is power. Thank you. And I hope I have done justice to my topic. And I would love to have some feedback from your side. I don't know when my program, of course, I think my lecture is scheduled on 31st, and I would be very much keen to get your feedback, and I would love to address your anxieties, your questions, and I take this opportunity to once again thank the organizers of this FDP program, and especially Dr. S.L. Patil sir, for giving me an opportunity and believing in me and trusting in me. Thank you all. Thank you.